On the dole and into a job, Republicans unveiling their anti-poverty plan this week. And one of the key proposals is to increase work requirements for welfare and food stamp recipients. Now, start with you, Mercedes. Is this something, well, first of all, President Bill Clinton actually signed this into law before President Obama scaled it back. Should we go back to those harsher work terms, requirements for welfare that Bill Clinton instituted?
First of all, I don't want to use the word harsher. Okay. I think the key here is you're talking about that was a bipartisan effort between President Clinton and the Republicans in Congress at the time to pass through this welfare reform legislation. And guess what? It was very successful. And what you also realize is that it reduced fraud. So, for example, in states like Maine and Kansas, where the governors went back and said, we're going to strengthen these work requirements, guess what happened? They figured out that some of the money that was out there that was being supposedly used for food stamps or for welfare were actually being used in Disney World on our cruise ships. And then when you look at the work requirements in particular, what do we want most for these able-bodied adults? We want them to have the incentive to be productive members of societies, to be able to participate in training programs and be able to feel that they are worthy, that they have value in our society. And so I think that it does put them in a position where they don't feel necessarily that they just have to sit back and not be able and feel hopeless that they can't get a job, but really be able to push forward and help them improve their lives. Right.
Now, Eboni, Mercedes points this out. There's bipartisan when it went through and it got pushed through, but Bill Clinton, nonetheless, a Democrat, did push through harsher, but more stringent work requirements for welfare. President Obama scaled them back.
Yeah.
Bad idea, good idea.
Bad idea. Look, I completely agree with Mercedes on this. Incentive-based assistance programs work. I mean, the data supports it. And really, actually, I think it helps both political narratives, right? You know, certainly the left has been dogged by this narrative that people just want freebies, want to stay at home, want to be lazy, don't want to contribute to society. Well, a work requirement helps aid that. Also, I think a lot of conservatives kind of get the rap of not caring about society, not being compassionate, not caring if people are starving and dying in the streets. Well, again, this is a bipartisan effort to remedy both of those, I think, many times false narratives.
Gina, let me ask you this. Now, Hillary Clinton has now said she's basically following in the footsteps of Barack Obama. Her husband made it harsher work requirements for welfare, but Hillary Clinton has kind of grabbed onto President Obama's bootstraps in the economy. Where does she go? She's split. She's divided. Where's she going to go with this one?
I think that Hillary will do whatever Hillary's packaging people tell her to do, whatever her consultants tell her to do. I don't know that there's really conviction on much of what Hillary says, and I think that's why she's looked at as so inauthentic. But that's beside the point, because I do think that, to Eboni's point, one thing that's even better about this is that people acquire skills when they are working. When you're out of the workforce, you're giving up all that time. And it doesn't matter how much money you're getting, you're keeping yourself right where you are. This is how the regressive left, Eric, uses these people. It is such a dirty secret of plantation politics. And here's the thing. We've spent more on entitlements and welfare every single year for how many decades?
Let me do this. Gina, I'm glad you brought that up.
The same.
We're going to go, but before we go, I just want to show something. Here's the poverty rate over the 50 years since we declared war on poverty. Has gone down, ticked down a little bit. But look at the cost of doing so. In other words, we got about a point and a half downtick in poverty, and we've literally spent trillions of dollars doing it, guys. The point is this. We're spending on the war on poverty, and we're not winning the war on poverty. Maybe we should be going back to stiffer work requirements for the free stuff. We're going to leave it right there. Coming up, the White House report.